This year, National Nurse Practitioner Week runs now through the 15th, and with us today is Valerie Fuller, and DNP, PhD, President, just all the kind of letters behind your name right now. And Valerie, if you would, because I think some people are not familiar with the nurse practitioner. What is the NP's role, in healthcare, and has that changed recently with the shortages that we're seeing in the medical field?
Sure, and I'd love to start just by saying happy National Nurse Practitioner Week to the more than 461,000 nurse practitioners across the U.S., and a special thank you to Governor Kehoe for recognizing the more than 9,000 nurse practitioners in the state of Missouri. So happy Nurse Practitioner Week, and thank you for everything you do.
Yes.
We have addressed and continue to address America's healthcare shortage. We know that about 100 million Americans lack access to basic primary healthcare services, and the nurse practitioners across this country continue to fill that void every day.
Now, what type of milestones has the American Association of Nurse Practitioners achieved in the past, 4 decades, and what are its future goals?
Sure. So we have a couple of big milestones this year. We just celebrated the 40th anniversary of the American Association of Nurse Practitioners, and we also just celebrated 60 years of the profession itself. Mm-hmm. And I would say our biggest gains over the last 40 years at AANP is to continue to reduce the barriers that prevent patients from accessing the healthcare provider of their choice. So 27 states, the District of Columbia, and 2 U.S. territories allow full practice authority for nurse practitioners, meaning they can work to the full extent of their education and training. And this is important because we know that in states that have either reduced or restricted practice for nurse practitioners, those patients have less access to health care. They actually have worse outcomes, more hospitalizations, rehospitalizations, et cetera.
Now, I see a nurse practitioner as well, and I wonder if you can speak to the idea of how the AANP has helped evaluate the nursing profession, as well as making people understand what a nurse practitioner is all about.
Yeah, it's a great question, and that's a huge goal of ours, is to let the nation know what nurse practitioners do and what we are. We are board-certified, graduate-educated clinicians who diagnose, we prescribe, we treat, we order and interpret diagnostic tests, and we improve access with excellent outcomes. And I hear so often how much people like their nurse practitioner, and I often hear this thing said, the nurse practitioner listened to me, and that's just so wonderful to hear.
This is not to shortchange anybody, but nurses are #1 on the firing line, and then to even upgrade that, a nurse practitioner, I mean, it's an incredible professional that you're able to see, and yes, they do communicate very well. They do listen. Now, what is being done by nurse practitioners, during this shortage? How are they helping provide better health care?
Sure. So it's an exciting time to be a nurse practitioner. We know that the profession is growing. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics suggests that the role will increase by about 46% by 2033. So by increasing the numbers of nurse practitioners in urban, suburban, and rural areas, we are improving access to high-quality health care. And that's one of our focuses at AANP, is to make sure that patients have access to timely, cost-effective, high-quality health care.
All right. I guess the final question I have is, how can people get more information?
Yeah, I'd love to tell you more about that. So there are 2 sites I would refer you to if you are a member of the public and interested in learning more about the nurse practitioner role or how to find a nurse practitioner in your area. Go to www.wechoosenps.org. And if you're a nurse or a nurse practitioner or a student and interested in learning more about what AANP can do for you, go to www.aamp.org.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and the best to all the nurse practitioners out there. You fill such an important role, I know, in my life and in thousands of others. So thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you to all of the nurse practitioners in Missouri.
Yes, thank you. All right, we'll be right back with more right after this.